last example now. So this time we have a lifeguard wants to rope off a rectangular area for swimmers to swim in. The area, A at x, that is to be enclosed can be modeled by the function A at x equals 700x minus 2x squared, where x is the width of the rectangle. So the question is, what is the maximum area that can be enclosed? Okay, so the first thing I need to do is I need to take my equation, and I'm going to cheat because I'm just going to copy this first and bring it down. Copy, paste. So the first thing that I notice is that this is not in the order that I want it. I want my x squared term first. Now when I do that, I want to make sure that I'm bringing the -2 with me. Otherwise, obviously, everything that I do is going to be incorrect. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go -2x squared plus 700. Now, how do I know that I'm going to complete the square? Well, the word maximum. Okay, see that word maximum? That tells me. If it said minimum, that would tell me. So whenever you see the word maximum or minimum, it says complete the square. So the first thing I need to do is I need to factor out my -2 out of my two terms. And when I do that, I'm going to take half of 700. So I'm looking at -350x. Watch your signs. Notice I factored in a negative, so that's going to change my 700. So now I'm going to take half of this number, which, oops, 350. I wanted to put a different number. And that looks pretty bad. So we'll just redo that. So I have 350 divided by 2, and I'm going to square it. Now, when you're doing word questions, one thing that you can do is you can give decimals if the question does have decimals. Okay, now this is negative. Make sure I use negative. So 175, and I need to square that number. When I square it, I end up with, my calculator tells me 30,625. So I'm going to add this and subtract it. So I add it. And you're saying, do I really have to put that step in? Yeah, you do have to put that step in. Why? Because I said so. And guess what? It doesn't even want to work now. Sorry. Technology is great when it works. Sucky when it doesn't. Okay, -30625. Okay, the first three terms are the perfect square. So I have -2 x minus, there's my answer up there, 175. And this time when I bring out my -30,625, I must multiply what's in front of the brackets, which is a -2. So that's going to give me a positive answer there. So -2, almost finished this question. Lots of steps. And when we multiply that by 2, we end up with 61,250. So my answer now, so I've completed a square. I forgot what I was even answering. It says, what is the maximum area? So it's asking for the maximum area. It's not asking me for what the width of the rectangle is. So what I need to do then is therefore max area is 61,250, and I go to see what units, and it doesn't tell me if it's meters or what it is, so I'm going to put units squared. So even if they don't give you units, at least put units squared down, and that is much better as far as communication marks go. Okay, so there's an example. Again, you did do examples with maximum and minimum word questions, so you shouldn't find it too difficult. Again, one important thing that you are allowed to do is you can round, and you can, where's my, there it is. You can round with word questions. So word questions allow you a little bit more leeway. Word questions, um, you can round. You obviously you can round, which means you can use decimals. Now, obviously, this question didn't require me to round or use decimals, but if I'm factoring out a decimal number to begin with, obviously that's going to create more of a mess. So obviously then that makes your life a little bit easier if you can round and use decimals. Okay, so lots of questions to do tomorrow.